Trade Genius.
Hi, Philip here with Trade Genius, and welcome to the Range Trader training video. The Range Trader indicator is designed to show both the support and resistance areas and the bias of the stock to be in either a buy the dip or sell the rip mode. The Range Trader works on all time frames and is effective for stocks, forex, ETFs, futures, and cryptocurrencies. The indicator is dynamic, meaning that as a new bar is printed, the support, resistance, and bias are checked and changed as necessary. So what I want to do in this video is show you how you would interpret how this is drawn relative to the price action and how you would trade that. All right, zooming in here, this is a 1 minute chart. And so what you have is either a range that's painted, and you're either going to have a red band or a green band. If it's a red band, that means that the range is now bearish and you would be looking to sell if it got up to the red area. And then if it's green, you do the opposite. If it's pulling back to the green band, you want to go ahead and look for entries there. Now I'm just going to show you just the Range Trader by itself, but this is a useful tool to have as your base template, and then add the other indicators to this so that when they're in agreement, you have better chances for success on buying the dips or selling the rips. So we're just going to look at this 1 minute chart for the time being. As you can see, flip back to green. Below here, we also have our money flow indicator that's customized. And you can see that, like most oscillators, if it dips down below the band, that's a signal to look for entries to buy. Or if it gets to the top over the band, you're looking for entries to sell. The Range Trader can also be used to trail stops behind. So depending on what you're trading and how you're trading it, this is a chart of the ES1 or the S&P 500 E-mini futures, which we do a lot of trading with in the VIP room. But if you're swing trading this, you can easily use this as a trailing stop indicator as well, and then you would get out here when it flipped. So this is a 1 minute chart. It gets a little more noisy on the smaller time frames, but I think where it's useful is if you use it against a higher time frame. So let's say if you use a 3 minute chart, for example, here you have, it's telling you to get long on a 3 minute, or you can trade with the 3 minute. So if this is all green, as you get like 1 minute dips, you can buy those. So as you can see here, it pulls back into the green zone. You get a nice bounce, does it again here, you get another nice bounce, another arrow here. Even though it flips and you get a buy arrow, that's still a legitimate entry to buy on that candle close. And you do want to wait for the candles to close if they're showing you a triangle. This is a buy triangle, this is a sell triangle. You want to wait for the candle to close to confirm those. But if you get that, that's a legitimate entry, even though it flipped, and you can take profits on the other side of this as it goes back up into the red zone, because you do have red sell signals, and then it resists price until the price finally breaks through. So again, you can use this by itself. I think higher time frames are less noisy, more reliable, but it really depends on your trading style. Here's a 5 minute look. You can see it comes right into the buy zone. You can buy that. Your money flow is also confirming it's in the buy zone, and you get a nice move back up. Again, your target would ideally be the top side of the range icon. So if you get a buy here, you could be targeting that line up there. Comes back in again. These are legitimate entries. However, you notice price rolls over, so nothing's 100%. You really do want to have stops under these buy arrows when they do form, your stop level is going to be what you're comfortable with, but you don't need to give it a ton of room, because typically if these don't hold, then you are going to see a deeper move down. So for something like the S&P 500 E-mini futures, you really only need a couple 3 points of stop room, and usually that's all you need with the Range Trader, because these levels are so reactive. And again, this works on higher time frames as well. So if your style is more swing trading, you could go to something like, say, a 4-hour chart and look for entries. Here you can see you got a sell signal on a 4-hour, and quite a big move back down off of that. Similarly here, you got a buy arrow on a 4-hour, and you get a decent move up off of that. So those also are quite reactive in the way that they respond to those. And again, you can drill down to your smaller time frames and take trades that are agreeing with this direction. Now ultimately you see that this is green, so we're looking for this area to support, And again, when you know that your 4-hour range is green, then your smaller time frames, you can be looking for buys and looking for things that say agree with the money flow. And one other thing on the money flow that you can do is you can also set the money flow to a different time frame. So let's say you are trading on, say, a 1-minute chart. Okay, you can set this to a 5-minute time frame. All right, and it kind of smooths it out. But you can see, like here, a nice correlation. You have a 5-minute buy zone, and you have also a 1-minute buy here. So this is something I do when we're doing day trades, that I look for the higher time frame money flow to confirm the direction that I want to trade in. And if I get, like, this is a very textbook setup here where the 5-minute has rotated nicely down into the buy zone on the money flow, and the 1-minute range has produced a buy signal. So this is pretty textbook, and you can easily get, you know, a few points off the 1 minute. So again, the 1 minute's for smaller moves, obviously, but this is the kind of thing that you can do. You can change these parameters, and when you find that kind of confluence even on the 1 minute chart, you can take advantage of that. So again, the 1 minute, mostly for scalping type trades, if that's your style. But the higher time frames, I think, like on the hourly, 4-hour, things like that, produce really, really important signals that you should pay attention to, and make sure that you're trading in agreement with that higher time frame. Another thing you can do is you can turn on the slow trend band from the profit ribbon indicator and set it to a setting of 8. Okay, so you're just going to have one of the trend bands showing. And you can also use that to help you gauge, this is an hourly chart, obviously, but it can help you gauge whether or not you want to get out of that trade or not. So you can see here actually pushing up. Now this is the month of December, so things tend to get a bit bullish for the stock market. But you can see we pushed up into this hourly range. Now this range already rejected here. So one thing that I like to keep in mind is that if you have a range trader sell, like this is on a higher time frame, and it's already rejected once, to me the first rejection is the best. Okay, that's your high probability, because ranges will flip, right? So if you're pressing up into it again and it's not relenting here, chances are we're probably getting ready for a range flip. But you'll notice that the trend band here with a setting of 8, notice it never really turned red. And so if you're looking for this to flip, let's say, you know, okay, we've already rejected here, we've come down, now we're back up here again, looks bullish. This is telling you that, yeah, that's probably going to flip it. And sure enough, it does. Also keeps you in that trend all the way up until here, turns red, and you can close out that trade and reassess, potentially buying off of here. So this is a nice helper indicator as far as telling you, is the trend strong? The wider these trend bars are, the stronger the trend is. You'll notice as the trend starts to exhaust, they flatten out and then change color. So if you had taken this trade and you were in this and holding and holding and holding, well, that's a great trade. And you close out up here when it turns red and flattens. That's an excellent trade management tool. So that's one other thing that you can add to this. Now, again, you can add all of the other indicators that you like using. You can add to this chart, but I think having the range trader as like your base template is extremely effective in framing where the resistance or the support levels are relative to the chart time frame and the instrument that you're trading. So I think this is going to be a very important addition to your toolkit. It's a staple of what we use in the VIP room now because of how powerful it is as far as how price reacts off of these levels. And if you combine them with the other tools that we have in the profit ribbon system, I think it's really going to supercharge your trading and take it to the next level. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support, guys. And if you have any questions, shoot us an email, and we'll see you in the next video.
Trade Genius.